Have you ever wondered if this could really replace your beloved physical collection? Well, I took the plunge and for 30 days I read only digital comics, and this is what I found out.
Deep within a bleak and dismal swamp, hidden beneath its murky waters, lies the headquarters of the most sinister villains of all time, the Legion of Doom.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Jake, and this is the Brave and the Boys, where we make lots of collected edition comic book content. So for this challenge, my wife challenged me. She said, could you go 30 days with only reading digital comics? And you guys know I love my physical comics, so this was a really fun challenge. I'm going to walk you through the different streaming apps for comics. I'm going to walk you through the device that I use. I'm going to walk you through if you can really replace your physical collection with the digital collection. Let's find out. So I know there are lots of things that can read digital comics, such as a phone, but for me, I am using an iPad Pro that is 12.9 inches. So this is actually going to be larger dimensions than a standard size comic book. So it kind of gives you the appearance that you're reading a deluxe edition or even an absolute. And it is going to be better for double page spreads. So as for the comic applications that we're going to use, we are going to do DC Ultra Infinite, Marvel Unlimited, Hoopla, and that's going to be it. Why? Because they've actually closed down a fair amount of them. Comixology closed down this year, and just this week, Omnibus, another online service for buying collected editions, shut down. So we are going to focus on the ones that I use this month and show you my user experience and which ones I recommend. So let's look at Marvel Unlimited first. So up first, we're going to look at Marvel Unlimited. This is an awesome service that has over 29,000 comic books. It does retail at $9.99 a month or $69 a year. And there is a annual plus tier, which gives you some extra goodies, but it's pretty good. I like that it has this trending title section for things that it recommends, and it does give you recommended series. But this is going to tell you my first early bump with it. So if you look here, it says Daredevil 2019 through 2021, 36 issues, right? So you click on that, and everything is just going to be issue by issue. So it is going to be like this, and once you're done with the issue, you have to read the next one. Now, for something that's like Daredevil 1 through 30, that's not that bad, but if it's an omnibus with crossover issues and things, that gets a little more challenging. There are going to be a couple different views. So there is this smart panel that can show first page first, show full page first, show full page last. So now you're getting a panel by panel, which almost gives you like a cinematic experience. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think that that works better for if you're reading on a smaller device like a phone. You can click here and scrub the pages quickly if you want to jump ahead to where you are at. But again, the main thing is it's going to just have issue by issue. So definitely no collected editions. Now, still amazing because it just gives you so much stuff all at once. But let's look right here where it says event reading guides and click on one of them. So let's do Spider-Verse the complete event. Now if you see here, this is Superior Spider-Man 2013 is the first issue, issue number 32, and then issue number 1 of Edge of Spider-Verse. So we click on here. We're going to scrub all the way to the last page. It says to be continued in Spider-Verse, and you swipe to the side. It is going to give you up next in the reading guide or up next in the series. So I guess that's okay. That's not terrible, but it does kind of break my immersion a little bit. It can be a little distracting where you start reading one thing and then you go down a different path, but still nice that they give you those single issues. I just wish that there were more reading orders. Now, you guys know I don't know Marvel as much as other things, so I do like this service because, there's a lot I can discover. You can do downloads, so you can read offline, which we'll touch on a little bit in the future, and you can follow specific characters. So I like Daredevil, Deadpool, and Venom, and you can get a lot of these Venom series all right here. So it's a really good app, and I recommend it. To be completely honest, I mean, you look at how much a single comic book costs now, it's almost $5, and for double the price, you do get 29,000 Marvel comics. So we should talk about the delay. When Marvel Unlimited first launched, it would take 6 months for a new issue to go from the stands to the app. but now they've shortened it down to just 3 months. So if you're okay not binging every new release every week, and you're okay having a little bit a month of a delay, this makes it a tremendous value. Now, I will say the one area where this faltered a little bit is I wasn't a big fan of their double panel reading. I wish that it could, be a little sized a little bit better. So here you get that panel zoom in again, and the user interface just wasn't my favorite. I wish they had a better double page reader, so where you could get 2 pages at the same time. That was something that I would like to see, because with the iPad 12.9, you could comfortably read 2 pages side by side, but still not a bad way to go. And I would say, of the services we're talking about today, Marvel Unlimited is my least favorite, but there's definitely a lot of room to grow. Now let's move on to the DC app. Coming up next is DC Infinite. This is going to offer 24,000 comics at $7.99 a month or $74.99 for the year. But what sets it apart is the DC Ultra Infinite that I joined up for, which is $119 a year. There's no monthly membership payment for that. But what that Ultra gives you is comics after just 30 days from when they release versus 6 months on the regular plan. It's also going to give you access to Vertigo and Black Label and comics that are deemed a little more adult, as well as it's going to give you full collected editions. So now you get to read the book as if it's the same thing I pulled off my bookshelf. So I really do like this. I also found their Discovery a little bit better. So it gives you trending series similar to how Marvel does. And then it gives you things that are topical. So right now, Absolute Power is all about DC right now, the Mark Waid event. And here you see Countdown to Absolute Power. Christmas in July, because I guess they, that's fun. So I think they have a lot of fun doing what, making their playlist, like you want a chill out playlist, and what do you know? It's all the ice villains. So pretty fun. Some of them get, pretty weird, pretty fun, but it's good for discovery. And I just found the interface way faster. I found it way snappier. And again, when you see this little Ultra tag, those are full collected editions. So you go to Up in the Sky, waiting for it to be done buffing. That's why I download my comics first. And now you have the full collected edition. So again, it has a panel by panel reading mode like Marvel, gives you that cinematic experience. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of that. It's also going to give you a scrub for all these different pages, as well as you can turn it sideways and get 1 page at a time. Again, I wish they would give you 2 panels at the same time. That would be really cool. Again, you can do the panel by panel smart view, but it's just a great service. And as you can see here, dive back in, I read a bunch of Superman stuff, and it was just a lot of fun. I mean, you guys know I'm more DC fan, so maybe I'm going to like the DC service better. But for me, it was snappier. The UI was a little bit better, and it does have the collected editions. But for me, it was snappier, and it does have collected editions, which I'm a massive fan of. So that was awesome. Now, the next service we're going to talk about is completely free. Up next is Hoopla. Hoopla is going to offer over 500,000 different things you can watch, read, or listen to, and it is completely free through your local library. So they might give you 5 to 15 things you can borrow. So when you go to borrow something, here we're in the comic book section, say I want to read, they have single issues like issue number 3, that would be a borrow. Or you could do Daredevil Volume 2 by Mark Waid, and that would be a borrow. So you can read ratings and reviews, which is pretty fun, see the creative team, and then you click borrow. When you borrow something, the title is available for 21 days after you borrow it. So you only can read one thing at a time. So borrowing also allows you to stream it or download on mobile devices. So I click borrow. It says borrowing title. They always try to get that review. And it's going to start downloading it. The download speeds on Hoopla are going to be marginally slower than on Marvel or DC. But still, you want to download because nothing is worse than flipping a page and it's buffering. That was one of my earliest bumps that I didn't like. And now I'll walk you through the reading experience. So here, pretty similar, pretty fast, really good scans. And similar to the other things, you can go here to pages, jump ahead, but you aren't going to get any of those panel by panel. Going to the side just lets you see 1 page at a time, unless it's a double page spread. And yeah, it's going to be the most basic of the user interfaces. But again, completely free. So now I want to talk about what the test was like for me. One thing I didn't realize that was really contributing to a sense of burnout, both in comic book reading and in comic book internet and YouTube creation, was that I didn't realize how shackled I was to the desk. I work from home doing social media marketing, and I would sit 8 hours a day just for work, plus whatever hours I sat at my desk for running multiple YouTube channels. On top of that, I only ever read collected editions sitting at this desk. And I didn't realize how trapped that made my desk feel. So, one of the best benefits and first benefits I noticed was that now I could take hundreds and thousands of omnis worth of content in the palm of my hand, and I could read anywhere, whether it was a coffee shop or downstairs on the couch next to my wife, so I could actually, be a husband. But that's not to say that I didn't get some early speed bumps. So in the beginning, one thing that I found was you really have to curate a space digitally and with notifications to make comic book reading conducive. So I can't tell you how frustrating it was the first time I wanted to read a Marvel book or a DC book and I was logged out of the account, and you got to go through the whole login process again. And then you see all these books, you don't know what's good or what's bad because you haven't bought any of them and you haven't curated your own collection. So I, blindly clicked on one, started reading, turned the page, and what do you know, it started buffering. So, okay, that was frustrating. So what did I do is I waited, I downloaded the book. Okay, it was downloaded. I clicked on, and then I have my wife asking me what I wanted for dinner that night, or a Facebook notification that someone sent me a poke or a message of someone I don't even talk to. And it was really distracting. I'd get a notification that, my Candy Crush needed to be played, and it was just destroying the atmosphere. So I learned pretty quickly that if I wanted to read something, go in with a plan. So I decided I wanted to read what would make up the Jeff Johns and Gary Frank Absolute, which then became what would make up the Jeff Johns Omnibus if there was ever an Action Comics by Jeff Johns. So I had a plan. I then went in and created a playlist on the DC app, which was fantastic, pre-downloaded everything, and then when I started reading, I turned on airplane mode. So now I wasn't getting text message updates or notifications that my Amazon order had shipped. I could just read the comic, and it was amazing and a lot of fun. Now, I will say that I had started to develop a new love of being able to read comic books anywhere, but I'm not going all in digitally. Just last year at late 2023, Amazon shut down Comixology, which was one of the most popular digital purchasing apps. Moving on from that, there was a newer one that had come out last year called Omnibus. I never bought anything on it, but I browsed it and downloaded it. And that app just announced this week, as I was making this video, as I was doing this contest, that it shut down. So would I ever buy comics digitally anymore? I don't think so. I have a massive digital movie library, and that's because they're backed by Apple and they're backed by movie studios. But I don't know if I feel comfortable trusting a new app money that I could only read on that application. Now, there are other alternatives such as Humble Bundle. They'll sell DRM free comic books in a CBZ file that you could read on a reader. That's a great way to do it because then you actually own it and you can read it on whatever application you want. But I don't think I would let myself get locked in to some random app that sells comics. But would I subscribe to Marvel and DC and get a library card for Hoopla so I can, borrow these thousands of comic books? In a heartbeat. And what transformed my reading is, you guys know I love to haul. You know I love to buy books blind. But this was the first time I was ever able to see what books were coming out this month, and I pre-read them before I bought them. And that was amazing. One example was Kurt Busiek's Superman Volume 1. I read the entire thing before it came out. Then I ordered the book, got it right away, and was the first YouTuber to make a video on it. So it really transformed my reading for a YouTube channel. It's allowing me to sample books, and it's an amazing experience that will never replace physical reading, but now is something I have as a way to enjoy this medium that I love. Let's jump into my final thoughts. In conclusion, digital reading is definitely not going to replace all of physical comic reading, but is definitely going to be a tool that I use to cut down on blind buying books. I am running out of space in my library to where I have books stacked on top of each other. So now I have to be a little more critical about what I buy, and being able to sample things before I just buy blatantly every book that comes out is amazing. Being able to go on vacation and not have to stuff Omnis in my backpack, I can just take an iPad, is amazing. And being able to read comics on the couch downstairs next to my wife is amazing. So this was a lot of fun. When people ask me now, is this book worth buying? My go-to answer is maybe try reading it digitally first, and you tell me if you think it's worth buying. We're still going to have a channel. I'm still going to buy lots of books, and we're still going to make awesome comic book content. But occasionally, it might be a digital book that I'm reviewing. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. If this video was helpful, go ahead and click like. Comment down below what your opinion is on digital comics. Click like, smash that like button, ring that bell for notifications, and most importantly, keep reading, physical or digital, and stay brave.